All righty. I'm just going to hit the slide deck for overview, and I'm not going to read anything. You just kind of take a peek at that. And then I want to get right into it. The key component here is valuing diversity cornerstones, and you can look at the quote from John F. Kennedy. He says, if we cannot end now our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. So I want you to think about diversity in a sense of being a real intricate part of CAP as well as it is most organizations. So number one, diversity is about inclusion and engagement. And the most important issue always is human dignity and total quality respect. Prejudice is eliminated by developing high-performance teams, and true diversity is ensuring diversity of thought at all levels of the organization. Everyone adds talent and value. Each person must be developed and offered full opportunity to achieve. And that goes from every cadet, from our youngest cadet to our senior members as well. Diversity solutions must be situation specific. And diversity is a philosophy that is everyone's responsibility. And I would hope that we began to get involved with this process, and everyone is going to be a part of it and understand what we can do. And I'll have some questions that you may have later on. The call for greatness. As you just look at this slide, look at the points that are in red. The challenge before us is real and crystal clear. The world in CAP and the auxiliary are changing, and we can see how it's changing more so on a weekly, monthly, and the last 6 months. And the people we lead are also challenging. The proactive response with changing demands is a new mindset that honors the rich traditions and the principles of our past. That goes to our culture in America. And I would think that the cultures that are represented here in CAP would also be involved. I mean, we have a rich cultural history here in Hawaii. And it's like a melting pot of so many different people groups as well. So what we want to focus on is to develop our talent. And I think we have a lot of talented people, both in our cadets and our senior members, and letting them develop their skills and abilities to best suit for our needs here in CAP. We also want to look at an environment of trust. Get 100% out, 100% of our people need to be involved. To nurture creativity, create learning, to get our people to greatness. High performance teams ignite passion and purpose. Create products and customer service. Well, customer service is kind of meeting the needs of both our cadets and our parents. Do you agree that I think, at least I tell everybody when I meet them, that CAP is the best volunteer organization this side of the Mississippi, probably the other side as well. Anybody agree? Oh, we should not be looking at the Mississippi line. We should be looking at all of the Pacific as well as the mainland.
CAP is great.
Good, thank you. Our goal. So is there any questions about a first goal here?
Steve, in general, does Hawaii have a difficulty in this embracing the diversity that CEP has?
Well, I think sometimes culture groups tend to be inclusive. And that may be a problem to kind of break out of that mindset. So that's what we really need to focus on as far as we are here in Hawaii. Okay, so the second goal is the organization of champions and having a strategic plan. We want to apply this diversity and the principles of diversity in our recruiting, our retention, and selecting our leaders. And diversity also has its rewards. There's the discipline of making sure that our goals are being met, and we're following policy as CAP has been given to us by CAP at the national headquarters. So the last three goals, I'll let you look at those, and maybe you might have some thoughts. Chime in if you have some thoughts about these. So when it comes down to training, I think sometimes it might be individual training with people who may not be involved with listening to or being a part of what we're doing here at the wing level. So it's kind of instilling that each squadron should be instilling this diversity principle training concept. So any questions? If you take a look at this slide, you see the words that are underlined. We all need to be a voice through words and deeds, resources, and outcomes. And this is an important part of the mission. Ensure that trust is the foundation in all of our strategies, initiatives, etc. Ensure all of your people know the bright lines, what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior towards other people within our wing, within our squadrons. And then we want to ensure that every people have an understanding and knows a little bit more about the role of diversity as it ties into the mission. And then building high performance teams. We need to all, as leaders, be a developer of talent and develop a culture of passion and diversity. That is, passion around the diversity that's within our wing. So let me open it up before I go any further. Any thoughts? You're all so quiet. So if I kind of round it out a little bit here as we close, in CAP, we must be building bridges across cultural barriers that begin with an open attitude and to truly understand our own cultural filters. Increase your awareness and others' perspectives. We need to look for commonalities with others, develop and practice effective communication skills. I know when I spent a lot of time in Korea, it was hard to adjust to the cultural differences that when I first got there. Later on, it was a little bit easier, of course. But because there was an exclusiveness of Korean culture, people were not as open to relationships unless there was something they needed from you. Here in Hawaii, I'm just amazed at the different culture groups, but a lot of interaction I have might be with Filipinos. There might be a little bit more with other culture groups, but being Caucasian, I think sometimes we have to overlook the fact that we are looked at as haoles. So anybody have any experience where you'd like to share about how you've overcome issues and how important diversity is in your workplace and how you see it working in a better frame of mind, maybe a better focus within CAP? So I open it up to all of you. Jennifer, any thoughts?
Interestingly enough, I am Filipino. Both of my parents are Filipino, but I tend to not think of myself as such. So sometimes when I have, like, for example, when I've lived in Japan, or even when I'm walking around, Honolulu, I actually feel self-conscious of myself because I might hear people speaking in Tagalog and I don't understand it myself. So I have a different perspective. I may not be the best person to ask here.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jen. That's a good point of view. I appreciate that.
I grew up in Hawaii in the 80s. And so I lived through the challenges of diversity growing up in Hawaii. However, when I went into the military, I really got an amazing perspective on how diversity really plays a part in accomplishing not only the mission, but imparting change to an organization by having a shared input from diverse viewpoints. And so when we listen to people talk and we can bring our tolerance to trying to understand where their perspective is derived, then I believe we're making progress. I think I mentioned in the staff meeting that Hawaii Wing currently has 25% female membership. So that's a great starting point. It's good. It's a good place to be, and I would like to see that grow. I think Maui is close to 50%, which is really incredible. I think I mentioned in the staff meeting that when we have strong, ethical female leaders, we're able to attract parents who are willing and seek those types of mentoring opportunities for their young children. And I think it's really important for us to take that inclusion to the next level. So we have some, whether a cadet is blind or deaf or has learning disabilities or, has religious requirements or modifications are required to the uniform because of religious beliefs. Those are all things that are workable within our culture. Those are all things that we can include. Those are all things that we can open our doors to serve a bigger population by having that inclusionary thought process. Mm-hmm. And I look forward to seeing the diversity program grow. I'm very excited by it. And I thank you, Chaplain Mendoza. Really, really great to see you championing this and bringing it to the forefront, because it's an important topic in today's climate. There's a lot of negativity exposed. Young people are exposed to a lot of negativity at an earlier age through social media. So by us providing tolerance, by us being a safe place for people to grow and explore who they are, and you know, even with the STEM program and aerospace education, one of the reasons I find it so fascinating is how cadets really latch on to it, and it opens up their mind to new possibilities. And diversity training and inclusion and tolerance, all of those things are critical for us to open our minds to the possibilities of other people's perspectives. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel. Appreciate it.